A five-star hotel opposite a primary school in central Wellington has become the capital's first managed isolation facility. As 5 buses of passengers recently arrived from Korea pulled in, they were met with police and Defence Force officials, as well as some unsuspecting primary school children. While concern over the personal risk of catching the virus was low amongst residents and parents, there was some frustration that none of them have been told about the plans earlier. Harry Locke reports.
Air New Zealand flight NZ1925, a charter flight arranged by the Ministry of Health, left Auckland at 10 to 1 this afternoon, arriving in Wellington at about 2 o'clock. On board, New Zealand citizens and residents recently repatriated from Korea. They were met by police and personnel from Aviation Security and the Defence Force, packed into 5 buses and taken straight to the 155-room Grand Mercure on the terrace. There to greet them amongst all PPE-clad officials and hotel staff was 10-year-old Phoebe, who lives a couple of doors down from the hotel, holding a sign saying "Welcome home, be kind." She had this message for those on the bus.
Well, I just want to say to them, don't stress out. It's going to be over, hopefully. Just not really a big deal.
As the buses pulled in, the incoming hotel guests, all wearing masks, made their way into the hotel lobby, where they were met with hand sanitising stations. But what started out as a tightly organised operation quickly became chaotic, as the coaches struggled to fit their way down the narrow street. To complicate matters, the second bus arrived just as children started pouring out of Te Aro School to meet their parents opposite the hotel. RNZ was not able to reach the Te Aro School principal Sue Clement for comment, but Bryce Edwards has a child at the school.
Parents of children at the school received an email mid-morning today informing us of this, and we've been instructed not to pick up children from the usual place out on the street because the hotel is right beside the school. So it's obviously going to be an issue for parents, but hopefully not too big a problem.
He says it may not be the best location.
This is quite a busy street here on the terrace. This is central Wellington. We have hundreds of students that are going across the road here, lots of parents picking them up.
Those living in the houses right next door to the hotel also had no idea it was going to be used as one of the government's isolation facilities. Students Rosie, Victoria and Ben all live in the house directly next to the Grand Mercure. While confused why they hadn't been told about it, they weren't too concerned.
I think you'd be expected to tell, because if people are coming in from overseas, we walk up and up and down here every day, so if you didn't bump into someone, it's kind of gotta be more cautious, I guess.
This is a really residential hotel. It's not one of the ones out in the airport precinct or whatever, so they're literally right next door, which is fine because it's going to be managed hopefully really well.
Everyone was wow, we're COVID free, and it's obviously we're going to get COVID back with people coming into the country, but they're going to be isolated. There's no need to be panicking about it.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she's got complete confidence in safety protocols within the isolation facilities.
So that even if you have travellers who are coming in on different days, as they come in, they are kept away from other guests. They are put into rooms that obviously have their own facilities and are kept away from others. So that separation of everyone in a facility is incredibly important.
It seems as though there was no official correspondence with local residents that the hotel behind me would be being used as an isolation facility. But as one resident who lives just across the road told me, it was pretty obvious. From the beginning of level 4, this hotel was shut down until it reopened on Saturday night, when the residents could see a whole number of vehicles pass through the hotel and begin cleaning it to make it ready to become used as an isolation facility. There is one new case of COVID-19 reported today in managed isolation. The man in his 30s arrived in New Zealand on June 21st from Kenya via Doha and Brisbane. He has been staying at the Novotel Ellerslie and is moving to the Jet Park Hotel today. The man tested positive for COVID-19 as part of routine testing around day 3 of his stay. This brings New Zealand's total number of active cases to 14, all of whom are in managed isolation or quarantine facilities. For Checkpoint, Harry Locke.